The Indian biking community has been very recently evolving into a market of enthusiasts. While there are the outliers with 2 motorcycle, 3 motorcycle, 4 motorcycle garages, the majority of the market has evolved from the middle class that has owned single motorcycles and mostly commuters that have major emphasis on being fuel efficient, affordable, practical, and aligning with the needs of the masses. However, globalization and a growing middle class demographic with increasing disposable incomes have spurred a demand for more premium and performance oriented motorcycles. Motorcycles that bring in more character, more style, more power, and give you a sense of belonging to a community or a brand. But as you advance to a higher tier of motorcycles, manufacturers specialize in a certain set of characteristics in their product, be it to cater to a purpose or set a brand philosophy. Some are cheap, some are fast, some are heavy, and some are, well, beautiful. While you get to enjoy a specific personality of your motorcycle, you end up compromising on some aspect that it misses out on. Very rarely does a motorcycle check all the boxes, until Triumph decides to enter the market and change the game big time. But one second, why did Triumph enter this market in the first place? Wasn't Triumph known for making premium, powerful, expensive, and performance-oriented motorcycles? What started as a British company that made sewing machines and bicycles, Triumph tried their hand at everything, including cars. Evolving into a brand renowned for making competitive, street-ready race bikes, Triumph always balanced performance with practicality. Despite facing near extinction in the 70s and 80s, the brand was revived in the 1990s, reintroducing a line of groundbreaking motorcycles including the Daytona, Speed Triple, alongside the classics like Bonneville and the Speed Twin. The legacy thrived with successful launches like the Thruxton, Scrambler, and the iconic Tigers. Today, Triumph boasts an extensive range from accessible models like the Trident and the Street Twin to the big daddy of all cruisers, the Triumph Rocket. For an entire century marrying history with modernity, Triumph motorcycles offer excellence in craftsmanship, giving a sense of heritage and pride among riders. People want to own a Triumph to be a part of this heritage while having one of the most well-made motorcycles. And then Triumph comes up with this. The Speed 400. First ever single-cylinder motorcycle from Triumph, brought to us in collaboration with the well-known Indian brand Bajaj. Let's first get past what the world has been talking about this new good boy in town. 398cc single-cylinder roadster with liquid cooling engine producing 40 PS of power and 37 Newton meters of torque. Supreme fit-finish levels, compact in size, great for urban use, linear power delivery, impressive suspension, looks to die for, and an unbelievable price tag of 2,33,000 ex-showroom. And yes, the drivechain and the sprocket is on the other side, unlike the Bajaj Domina, proving it's not a refurbished Bajaj engine. We get it. With that out of the way, let's now look past all the surface level details and understand what this motorcycle is all about and why did a brand like Triumph brought this into existence.
ये है NASA's most ambitious project ever, Juno, the spacecraft on a 5-year mission to discover Jupiter's secrets. That will take it to Jupiter in just 1 year. Any questions?
Yes. कितना देती है?
For an automobile brand to work in a country like India, the product philosophy was a lot simple earlier. Make it as affordable, as efficient, and as many as possible. Modern day India has changed quite a bit. Indians now don't mind spending a bunch as long as the product is worth the value. Young Indians are seeking motorcycles that not only fulfill their basic transportation needs, but also provide a sense of style, performance, and status. The combination of higher engine capacities, modern features, and eye-catching designs has transformed motorcycles from being mere utilities to expressions of individuality and lifestyle, which is where brands like KTM, Bajaj, Royal Enfield, TVS, and many others have come to the forefront, every brand providing a different flavor and approach to the young Indian dream. The Indian market rapidly evolved to the 200 to 400cc motorcycles. Every product, regardless of the brand, broadening the market's appeal. Some were drawn to the segment for its sporty aesthetics and speed capabilities. Others were intrigued by the versatility and touring potential, making these motorcycles suitable for both urban commutes and long-distance journeys, while not being too heavy on the pocket. With features like ABS, digital displays, ride modes, these motorcycles became safer and more convenient. This blend of cutting-edge technology with mid-range motorcycles aligned well with the aspirations of the Indian consumer. All of this happened while the big guns of the motorcycle industry sat and watched. The BMWs, Triumphs, Ducatis, Kawasaki's, Harleys, and many others that collectively made hardly 2 to 3% of the motorcycle sales in India offered incredible bikes that could also justify the price they came at. And they were being sold too, but only to those that could easily afford them. The top rich 1% of the country. For the middle class, these mid-range options provided a taste of not close but almost similar performance at a fraction of the cost. Also, with the amazing road infrastructure, traffic conditions, and fuel costs in India, it wouldn't make the most sense getting a superbike for yourself and ruining it in the wild urban jungle. So here was a market with incredible spending potential that would appreciate everything that would make practical sense on the Indian roads, while being mindful of its value for the money and expecting a better ownership experience. Brands that understood this sentiment ruled the market, but the big guns wanted a piece of this pie. But there was no way they could enter the market all by themselves, launch an aggressively priced product that also stays true to the brand ideology, and make it good enough to compete against the market winners. The only way to get a piece of this pie was to ask for a share. Or in other words, if you can't beat them, join them.
Well, Bajaj Auto has formalized its alliance with the legacy British motorcycle manufacturer Triumph after over 3 years of it being in the works. Bajaj Auto will manufacture mid-capacity bikes for Triumph as part of the alliance, and the bikes will give Bajaj Auto an entry into the mid-capacity premium segment where its competitor Royal Enfield dominates.
With a price tag of 2,33,000 ex-showroom, Triumph hit it out of the park and shocked everyone. This conveniently happened just a day after there was another launch of a very similar collaborative venture of Harley-Davidson with our very own hero Motocorp, in the form of the Harley-Davidson X440. The baby Harley created quite a buzz and was pleasantly welcomed on its first day, with its aggressive pricing at 2.3 lakhs ex-showroom. But just a day after, Triumph came and stole the show. But how did Triumph pull this off? Well, Triumph's role in the Speed 400 primarily revolves around design and engineering. They bring their experience in creating iconic motorcycles, ensuring that the design language, aesthetics, and performance of the new motorcycles align with the brand's identity. This is where the decades worth of heritage comes from, and bringing this value at an extremely aggressive and accessible price was possible because of Bajaj. Bajaj Auto's core competency lies in manufacturing, production, and supply chain capabilities, necessary to bring the Speed 400 at this cost. Bajaj's experience in efficiently manufacturing vehicles at a huge scale allows for a cost-effective production. Besides, Bajaj has a deep understanding of the Indian and global markets. Their insights into consumer preferences, market trends, and regulatory requirements are valuable inputs in tailoring the motorcycles to suit the Indian market. Additionally, Bajaj's expertise in localizing components also helps in managing the costs. So quite evidently, partnerships like these not only help the brands but also the customers to get an overall better product. But Bajaj, Triumph or Hero Harley weren't the first one to pull off something like this. There was another big brand that started this trend a few years ago. BMW was the first one to reach its hands out first and shook them with TVS. The brand that made the king of two-wheelers, the GSA 1250, launched this teeny tiny 310cc baby GS and a G310R. People were split in two. Some were amused as to why would BMW do something like this, while some saw the opportunity to finally fulfill their dream of owning a Beamer. The BMW sold well initially due to multiple reasons, majorly being the fact that it was a BMW. The logo made up for everything missing in the bike, and people did not necessarily complain. But the rose-tinted glasses came off, as the price and service costs could not be justified for the product and its performance in the long run. The logo could only do so much for the bikes, and they lost their novelty. BMW revisited with a humble approach this time and revised the pricing while doing some improvements in the product. It did help the brand a huge deal with sales, and it's been better since then. But the Germans couldn't leave a lasting impression and hardly made it to the Hall of Fame. After being brutally compared to the KTMs, it hardly stood a chance competing with the power, performance and features at the price the KTM was offered. Triumph in the meanwhile took notes. And the brand understood that Indians aren't going to appreciate a product just for its brand value. The product fundamentally should not only be good, but also should make practical sense to the Indian mindset. And here's where this new beauty comes into town. The Triumph looks like a Triumph would. That's enough to exactly describe how well it stays true to the brand's identity. Right from the retro styling, the headlights, the sculpted tank, the speedometer, the silhouette, the side panels, and the iconic fins on the panels that are a homage to its bigger sibling, the Speed Twin. You won't for a second feel that you've bought a cheaper Triumph. Brands often can't translate the design language of their own product when creating a smaller capacity iteration of the legendary flagships. I'm talking to you, Suzuki. Every component just in Triumph style is designed to perfection, sung a lullaby and put to sleep on the Speed 400. Right from the beautifully finished metal parts, to the body paint, to the striking gold forks and the scooped out tank to make space for the forks, the attention to detail is exquisite. There are no cables, wires hanging around or even visible around the engine except for the clutch. Very nicely done. This motorcycle at this price point obliterates the competition in terms of fit-finish quality and announces the fact that cost cutting is a myth. It is that good. I've caught myself looking at it for hours, and no matter what direction I ogle at it from, it just looks beautiful. Oh, sorry, wrong footage. Furthermore, Triumph had a clear understanding of its competitive landscape. When considering the motorcycle's aesthetics and fundamental design, Triumph had an option to adopt the popular sports naked style that has been popular in India for quite a long time. But that would have led to comparisons with the KTM Duke 390 and the TVS Apache RTR 310 that have just launched. These bikes are known for their sporty and flamboyant designs, packed with features to the brim. Competing on this front would have driven up the costs. Not an ideal situation to be in for a newly launched product. Alternatively, Triumph could have ventured into the adventure motorcycle segment, which is in super high demand in India. However, this would have required advanced and costly hardware, shooting up the costs again, and it would have been challenging to compete against the KTM's own Adventure 390 and the segment leader, the Himalayan. A bigger 450cc version of which is all set to come and dominate the adventure motorcycle market in India. Opting for a retro styling conveniently set the Speed 400 apart from its competitors, positioning itself in a relatively less crowded space where the Royal Enfield dominates with its retro motorcycles, along with a few new and small players like the Honda, Java and Yazdi. This strategy allows the Speed 400 to stand out as an advanced, premium, better performing and practical motorcycle among its retro peers. Well played, Triumph. But the design is not understated by any means. It will still draw attention from everyone on the road.
I should make a reaction reel out of it. Half of the motovlogging community has existed because of cute reaction videos. But those are very uncreative. I mean, you can at least be creative about it.
You don't mean nothing to me. E-boys like you every dinner. I don't believe what you preach. You're just a rookie beginner. Hang out with boys in the street. Like that will make you a winner. I don't believe what I see. You wear gold. You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk up, brother, everything belongs to you.
Hello there.
Like I'm a young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware.
While the attention you get should not be the motivation for you to buy this motorcycle, but despite that, the attention will make up for all your money's worth. But then, road presence isn't the only thing you will have with this bike. The Speed 400 is not an all show and no go by any means.
You don't know it, but I noticed you right away.
The Speed 400 has to have one of the most easygoing and friendly personalities among performance motorcycles. With a tubular frame and a bolt-on subframe, the bike is not only lightweight at 176 kgs, but also easily maneuverable in tight traffic and flickable around corners effortlessly. But because of its frame, it may look like a very tiny bike. It surely is not big either, but it very nonchalantly tricks you into believing that it is as nice and as tiny as it looks. But when you twist the throttle and give it the go,
Wow, dude. This is exciting, dude. Did not expect this, for sure. I mean, you can feel the torque, for sure. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, I kind of underestimated the 400cc engine. I mean, this is a tad bit less than the KTM engine. So I should have expected this, but I still am pleasantly surprised given the size of it, dude. It feels like a pocket rocket.
Pocket rocket. That's the word I was looking for. This tiny little toy packs in a lot of performance that is hidden away under its 37.5 Nm of torque, of which 30 Nm comes in good at the low end of the rev band. You can take it easy, cruise on a higher gear at lower speeds, and not bother about the engine running out of torque, almost making you feel like this is what it's meant to do. Take it easy, like a Royal Enfield. But when you give it a ring of the throttle, it suddenly comes to life and just doesn't stop pulling. And I'm not exaggerating. It just doesn't stop pulling.
Beautiful pickup, dude. Beautiful.
And all of this 40 PS of power is brought to you in a very linear fashion. Unlike the brutal acceleration of the KTMs, it doesn't unsettle or scare you with a sudden jump along the rev range. Riders upgrading from a commuter or a 150 to 200cc motorcycle will absolutely love this. The surge in power is progressive and easily tractable, letting you understand and take control of exactly how much speed and power you need. I love how the power and torque is well balanced across the rev range, and no matter at what gear or speed you are within the bike's capacity, you always have enough for a quick overtake on the highways. While in the city, you have more than enough power at your disposal. The low-end Grand doesn't let you bother about the gears in stop-and-go traffic. And despite being such a powerful machine, despite being ridden hard, There is very minimal engine heat that is thrown onto your thighs in traffic, and you barely feel any heat while on the go. The radiator kicks in while you are at a standstill in traffic, but it shuts off within a few minutes on its own. Such a nice and well-behaved motorcycle. Along with the acceleration, the deceleration or the braking is great too, without being too aggressive. The brakes offer sufficient amount of bite and can bring you to a standstill in no time. The dual channel ABS is not too intrusive, but does step in more than often to take care of things when need be. The tires do a good job gripping the surface as well, be it in wet or dry conditions. The test bikes had Apollos installed on them, and they seem to have worked great. So overall, the Speed 400, while being friendly with its performance, is a forgiving motorcycle, allowing you to make mistakes and overcome them without letting things go out of control. Again, such a nice and well-behaved motorcycle. The versatility of the Speed 400 is refreshing and effortless. So is with the suspension. Right off the bat, and let me say this has to be the best suspension tune I've experienced on any motorcycle I've ridden so far. There, I said it. Let me elaborate. With a preload adjustable monoshock at the rear and gold finished upside down forks at the front that, besides looking great, are tuned specifically for Indian road conditions. And they work absolutely well in ironing out all sorts of undulations on the road and numbing down the shock from larger potholes.
Alrighty, time for off-roads. This is the most easiest or the least effort taking test I've got on my channel, because it's right outside my house. Super first impressions, the suspension is very impressive, very impressive, because it is nice and planted. It is not raunchy, it is not stiff, it is not super bouncy. It is like perfection. It is the perfect amount of firmness and the perfect amount of softness around the bumps. You don't notice any sharpness or any jerk, neither on your spine, on your knees, nowhere. But I'll still save my comments for the legendary road. The legendary road is yet to come, and my beloved Ramesh Pakya and Charan, my pothole friends. Yes, I have named them. So they are waiting for me to hump them, and I can't wait either. There you go. Right now these are not decorated with chai inside them, but with the bouncing around of my bike, you will be able to notice the depth, the beautiful depth of these potholes. So anyway, what I was saying about the suspension is, even now in such bad roads, you surely, like, obviously these are huge craters and you'll notice all of this, but the sharpness, it completely goes away. Even with this setting, whatever suspension that this bike has, it irons out all sorts of undulations on the road. These can't really be called undulations, but see this pebble that I went over, there were no traces of it on my body. It is just super comfortable. It's not bouncing around. It's nice. The firm is the word. Firm is the exact word. Also, thanks to the rear side foot pegs, you can always saddle up if you wish and fly over the potholes and not bother about them, just like you do on an adventure motorcycle, and the bike won't bat an eyelid at all. And it's nothing to do with how soft it is or how stiff it is. It's the perfect balance. That's what makes the difference. It's very difficult to explain it. Unless you experience it yourself, you won't understand it. Also, special shout out to BMC for these beautiful roads. This off-road review has been curated in collaboration with BMC, where they get to let me have an off-road experience right here in the heart of the city without going to any remote places like Ladakh. And I've also talked with BMC and asked them to even break all of these roads that I've built very recently, so that we get even more content and we get even more brothers of my beloved Ramesh Pakya and Charan. But what they've told me is this will only happen if you have enough numbers in terms of subscribers. So you know what to do. You gotta show some numbers, guys.
Even at higher speeds, you feel fully confident on the highways. The firmness doesn't let you jump around and keeps you well planted even at 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. However, things start to get a little bouncy if you go faster than that. Of course, over undulated highway roads. but that can be easily fixed with a preload adjustment on the rear monoshock. There's absolutely nothing to complain about with regards to the suspension. Triumph has it absolutely bang on. It seems as if you throw anything at it, you take it to whatever rideable place, the Speed 400 takes it and doesn't disappoint you. It in fact encourages you to give it some more without bothering much and leaves a wide grin on your face every time you ride it. Seriously, such a nice and well-behaved motorcycle. But having said that, not everything is flawless on this bike.
There's a point, 8,000 RPM, where the motorcycle vibrates. The engine comes alive, just screams, and all you can feel is a buzz moving through the seat and the handlebars. 8,000 RPM, that's where you meet it. You feel it coming, it creeps upon you, it starts from the foot pegs, massages your body, asks you a question, the only question that matters.
Sorry for ruining that beautiful 7,000 RPM scene for you. But it's true, with the Speed 400 at 8,000 RPM, the vibrations are quite evident, especially at speeds above 100 km per hour, which is quite surprising for a motorcycle that does 160 effortlessly. The refinement levels surely could have been better, but having said that, the vibrations aren't a matter of huge concern. While there is a noticeable buzz at the top end, it is never unbearable or unpleasant. Besides, while being at the very top end, you're pumping with adrenaline and thrill of the bike's acceleration, that you hardly bother about the buzz you get from the engine. So bottom line, you get used to it sooner than you realize. Also, to give the Speed 400 the benefit of doubt, these were brand new test bikes, just out of the factory, with hardly any running done on the Ordo. Hopefully, after the first service, the engine refinement levels should improve as they do with all vehicles. So nothing to worry there. I know, it's a feature and not a flaw, but what ride-by-wire technology does is it electronically sends throttle inputs to the throttle sensor instead of a cable operating the throttle body. This results in instant throttle response with little to no lag whatsoever. The acceleration is crisp, quick and precise. With the Speed 400, since it has really good low-end torque, the throttle is very sensitive and even a little input leads to the bike jumping, resulting in a very choppy, slow speed ride. It's feather sensitive, like it's even for a feather touch, and you will notice the difference on the first gear. See, the way it jerks. But mind you, this happens only till you get used to the way the throttle is set up. Once you get a hang of it, your hand is precise with its motion, which eventually is a skill to have. It makes a huge difference, to the point that a normal cable-operated throttle feels laggy and lethargic if you switch from something like this. I did feel that lag when I got back to my Continental GT. Just like you're getting used to the instant throttle response on the Speed 400, there's one more thing that I feel the owner of this motorcycle will eventually get used to. And to contain that power, hardly any level of skill that you require. It is easily controllable. It's just so easily brought to you that I still fear that despite of it being so good, I fear that you will get used to it. Firstly, you'll get used to the power it has, you'll get used to how to control it, and then you'll feel that you've outgrown this machine. Because these are very nice machines and it is very easy to tame these. And I won't claim this to be the truth, because after all, it is all subjective. The level of skills you have, the level of fun you can have on a bike, it is all very subjective. But on a straight line, for me, I feel that this is eventually going to make me feel that I've gotten used to it, and I'll feel like I'll need some character in this, like the KTMs, right? KTMs are known for their brutal acceleration, regardless of the engine capacities. Keeping that as a benchmark, some might say that Triumph could have been a little bolder, given the brand's global reputation, infusing the Speed 400 with more character and flair. And that's true. It doesn't make a statement. It doesn't offend any purpose. It is safe, nice, and well behaved. But here's the beauty of it. Triumph's vision wasn't to cater to just the hardcore enthusiasts who crave for more character. They seek to welcome an entirely new generation of riders who've been eagerly waiting for precisely this. A friendly and forgiving nature with balanced performance will be much more appreciated than having outright top-end mania like the KTM's offer, or the down-low, easygoing, stoic personality like the Royal Enfields have. It hits the right balance. If that's a cup of your tea, nothing like it. As I said, it's all subjective. With the accessible power and performance the Speed 400 has, at the accessible cost that it comes at, I fear one more potential possibility. The potential increase in its price. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last potential flaw. Let's take KTM's as a reference again. Remember the first ever KTM's launch in India? It took the Indian market by storm, with its radical styling and performance and the insane price it came at. But over the years, KTM's went on getting expensive, and now they stand at almost 4 lakh rupees. There's no denying the quality, performance and experience you get for the price, and they justify that very well. But back in the day, the price felt like a steal of a deal, and they flew off the shelves. Same is with the Speed 400. Everyone, including the media, were absolutely shocked looking at how Triumph and Bajaj managed to bring the cost so low. While the brand has made no such claims, but I do anticipate the price rising up over the years, with incremental updates and upgrades, and maybe even surpassing the KTM's. After all, it is a Triumph, and they will hopefully justify the price with impeccable quality and performance. But one second, again, why did Triumph enter this market in the first place? Wasn't Triumph known for making premium, powerful, expensive, and performance-oriented motorcycles? Now that the Indian automotive market has rapidly expanded, the Indian customer now has the power to dictate what kind of products they want. The relatively affordable brands now are developing higher capacity motorcycles that cater to the enthusiast market that is willing to pay more for a premium experience with all kinds of different flavors to choose from. And very naturally, bikers tend to become loyalists of the brand of motorcycles they begin with. A Royal Enfield Classic 350 rider is most likely to upgrade to a Royal Enfield Interceptor. A KTM Duke 250 rider most likely will upgrade to a KTM Duke 390 that has just launched. A Yamaha R15 owner is looking forward to ride the Yamaha R3 for ages now. And even if they don't upgrade to a bigger motorcycle of the same brand, they are most likely to opt for a brand that they are familiar with in the Indian market. And this is precisely an attempt by Triumph to give them an entryway into the brand's ecosystem. And that is the first move. Once the customer gets a taste of what Triumphs offer, they will turn into brand loyalists and eventually most likely upgrade to a bigger Triumph. And Triumph has exactly that. A whole host of big motorcycles with all kinds of personalities to choose from. The Speed 400 is the golden ticket for the brand to enter into the untouched Indian market and probably hook them for life. Triumph also could have priced it much higher, capitalizing on its brand value, but it chose not to. It saw how BMW's approach was with the 310 series motorcycles that were forgotten over time. Triumph doesn't intend to be forgotten. There is the Scrambler 400 coming up next that comes in with the history and heritage of the Scramblers and an exciting personality with it. By then, the Speed 400 must make a mark for itself and become a relatively familiar name in the Indian market. And it surely will. And that's when the Scrambler will arrive. After that, there could be a possibility of a Tiger 400 or a Street Triple style Sports Naked that will be advanced in hardware and features and will demand a hefty price. The possibilities are endless. But right now, it's about creating a motorcycle that makes perfect sense on the India's bustling roads. and credit where it's due. Right from its launch, the Speed 400 did create a lot of noise, and since then, TVS, Hero, KTM have launched their motorcycles and followed suit of pricing them aggressively. The market is hot and competitive, and this is an exciting time for us enthusiasts to be in. The Speed 400, without a doubt, is Triumph's sincere attempt to deliver the ultimate experience to the Indian enthusiasts, all without forcing them to compromise on their fundamental expectations. In the biking world, with the outliers with 2 motorcycle, 3 motorcycle, 4 motorcycle garages that have the luxury to choose different motorcycles for various purposes and modes, Triumph recognizes the reality of most Indian bikers. For them, a single motorcycle must wear multiple hats, serving as their daily commuter, a trusty tourer, an adventurous explorer, a source of pure joy, and the cherished dream machine that resides close to their heart. The Speed 400, while living up to Triumph's esteemed name and brand identity, wholeheartedly caters to these multifaceted needs in a very genuine and endearing manner. It doesn't ask you to compromise, adapt, or sacrifice on any practical aspect of motorcycling. Instead, it offers a delightful and intimate ride that places your experience at its top priority. It works for you rather than you working for it. A rarity not found in every motorcycle. In a world filled with hardcore, purpose-driven and specialized machines, the Speed 400 stands out as a breath of fresh air. One of the nicest and well-behaved motorcycles out there. Thank you for watching.